When you watch the film again and kind of dissect it and practice some of the things that didn't go as well, what were the main ones?
I mean, really, it was just when they slowed the pace down, we got to figure out ways to where we can still do our offense and still play our game. Because, I mean, when they slow the game down, we kind of just get out of our motion and everything. So we got to figure that out, really. That's one of the main things.
Did you feel like UNLV and Colorado State kind of did the same thing?
Yeah, exactly. Like UNLV, Colorado State, they both kind of had that slow pace, bringing the ball up slow. So we kind of lost our flow in the offense and everything. So that kind of changed our game plan.
How did they turn out as much as, and I felt like one of the rare times that you guys had security problems is just missing making shots.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of came into the game kind of just slow, and we didn't really have like the energy we normally come in the game with. So when we came in that game, kind of throwing extra turnovers, just kind of loose with the ball, something we got to kind of figure out to change in our game plan.
What's this last 10 days been like the break for the holiday and getting back into work after coming off of that loss?
Yeah, so they let us go home for a couple of days, but I mean, we kind of had to do film and everything and work out there. But coming back now, we kind of turned our attention to Marquette now, so learn how to play their kind of game or the flat, fast motion, so kind of the way we like to play more. So having that's going to be better for us, so we'll see.
Their defense is kind of predicated on deflections and disruptions and activity level. Is it an interesting test considering the kind of game you guys are coming off of where we weren't as efficient offensively?
Yeah, it's something we kind of put our key on. We kind of worked on being better with the ball, off 2 feet and everything, how we always work in practice. So being able to do that will make it so we hopefully get less deflections, less turnovers on our side.
Basketball is obviously one of those sports where you usually get a pretty quick chance to bounce back. Did it suck in a way having this much time between games?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I like being able to bounce back quick and have a game like 2 or 3 days after, so we don't have to keep our minds on that. But having the extra days off is still good for the bodies and everything. So either way, it's still good for us.
You've been one of the most efficient players in the country up to this point. Is it boosting your confidence in just what you're doing out there on the floor to see the results kind of have some early results?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it definitely helps having being able to have that good efficiency, but still being able to do the right reads and right plays. Still don't want to go out of my game, so being able to do that, even though it's a high efficiency, still want to make sure I do the right play.
You home or you stay here for Christmas?
I was here. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah, I was here.
Watch Villanova. How many times you watch Villanova at all?
I watched it one time, and it was enough. Yeah.
What stood out to you?
I mean, coach kind of said after the game we didn't really play smart. They don't force turnovers. We had 16. So yeah, I mean, I think that's where they got us.
I kind of asked Mason the same thing. From your perspective, did it stink to have this long between games?
Sorry?
Did it stink to have this long between games you have to think about?
Oh, I mean, yeah, a break every now and then is pretty good, It gives us time to prepare for Marquette. Really good team. Of course, they won the conference, the regular season and the conference tournaments last year. So they got 90-95% of the roster back. So they're a good team, and I mean, we're lucky we got this time to prepare.
What ways is Marquette going to challenge you guys specifically?
I mean, they do force turnovers, so we're going to have to be careful with that. Yeah, I mean, they're very athletic, they run. But yeah, live turnovers, I think it's what they're going to try to make us do so they can run in fast break.
How do you handle their ball pressure? What's the keys?
I mean, keep your head up. Jump stop first of all, and then ball fakes. They're really good at reading passing lanes, and as I said before, starting fast break. So get in there, jump stop, ball fake, and make the right play.
Will you be able to get the flow as easily as you want to? Because that's kind of they like to get up and down, but they like to stop and disrupt.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be an up and down game, I think. We're gonna be running a lot. So the more we do that, I think the less opportunity for them to press. So yeah.
What's the key to playing against Kolek and trying to keep him in control?
I mean, really good pick and roll player. Really good at pockets and getting his teammates involved, but he's also really good at getting to the hoop. So, I mean, hopefully force him to the mid range. They don't take. I think they take like 1 or 2 mid ranges per game. So, force him kind of in that area and see what happens.
What makes him so good at getting to his left hand? It seems like everyone tries to take it away. But
Yeah, I mean, I think he's patient. You know, nobody speeds him up. His pace. He's really good at using his body. So yeah, like as you said, we're gonna try to take it away as best as we can.
Any time of year coming off a loss isn't great, but certainly not ideal when you have a 10-day break. But you know, everybody got back here on time. We got back to the practice floor, and you move on to the next.
When you look at the last 10 minutes of that Villanova game specifically, what were kind of some of the takeaways that you guys needed to get better there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't make shots, and we didn't make free throws, and you have to do both. And then, you know, defensively, weren't as good at the rim as we needed to be, and then got lost on a couple 3-point shots that allowed them to get a little momentum.
These days off give you any chance to self-scout, and if so, is there anything that stood out like, hey, we're actually not bad at this, or hey, I actually thought we'd be better at this?
I mean, you're always self-scouting, not only during a break, but you know, we evaluate every game the same, regardless of whether we win or lose, on what we're doing well and what we have to get better at. And obviously, our offensive and defensive numbers are still pretty good. You know, 12 games in, I think we're in the top 22 or 23 in the country in both offense and defense. But you got to win the games. You know, we had an opportunity to win that one and let it slip away. So we've got to finish a little better.
What's the pulse of the team right now after a couple losses that you want to get back on?
We've only lost one, so we beat a top 10 team in the net right before that. So you know, you have to have a short memory in basketball, and generally you're playing 2 or 3 days later. And 10 days is a little trickier, but you know, they got home, they got to be with their families. They needed that. That break is so important this time of year. And now we're going into Hornets Nest on Saturday. Marquette's, you know, they're one of the teams in the country that I think has a chance to win a national championship.
do you watch any Big East games during the break? And do you have a view on how the league shakes out at this point?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I watch Providence and Marquette because we're playing Marquette. Watch the Georgetown Marquette game as well. Didn't really watch anything else. You know, but obviously Butler, I haven't seen them play much, but they're much improved. You know, Providence had 2 really good home wins. You know, Seton Hall beats UConn at home. St. John's plays UConn really close on the road. So the league is really, really good again, and you know, you're going to have to be ready every single night.
What allowed Marquette to be so good last year against you guys, and then how are they different, or are they the same this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, we played them the first time without Kalk, and then the second time it came down to the very end. And, you know, we turned it over too much the second half. That allowed them to get some separation and get that 10-point lead, and then we were able to get it back to a one-possession game. Just couldn't quite finish it. But, you know, in my evaluation, you know, I think they have, if not the best passing point guard in the country, he's certainly in the conversation. And I know they have the best passing center in the country in Iguodaro. So when you put those two together, it's a problem because they just don't make mistakes with the basketball, and they make you pay for whatever defensive scheme you try to come up with to try to slow down their flow and their pace. They have 2 of the best in the country that are their decision makers.
With how good they are at making those decisions, how do you make them take the shots you want them to take?
Yeah, it's tricky because they take less mid-range shots than they'll take some in the lane, some floaters maybe, but in terms of 2-point shots outside the paint, they're as hard of a team in the country to get them to take those shots, and that's what our defense is designed to do. So our ability to try to protect the rim a little bit better than we did when we played them last year is going to be critical, and then understanding personnel, like who can you not give a 3-point shot to, and then who are the guys that maybe you could live with a little.
Going into a tough road game like this, is it tougher going off the home days?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to enjoy going to Marquette this year that much because their team's so good. But like I said, I think it's refreshing that the guys can get home. Obviously, they were disappointed in the loss, like we were, but they also got to spend some time with their families, and they really hadn't been home and seen them for a couple months. So I thought they were energized when they came back to campus.
When you send them away on break, do you ever get concerned, like you want them to rest, but you also want them to stay in shape so they don't come back?
Yeah, they had a prescribed workout plan that Jeremy Anderson put together of how much they wanted him in the gym and when they wanted him in the gym. They needed a day or two off, but I was pleased with the way they came back on the 26th.
Defensively, what's the key to Marquette's ability to disrupt the teams, especially their flow, just connecting those passes? That's so easy.
Their anticipation skills are off the charts, and they have a lot of length. And then Iguodaro's, he's good at he's an elite shot blocker and protects the rim back there, so it's hard to get easy stuff there. But 1 through 3, especially, they're kind of interchangeable, so they can switch a lot of things and not really get themselves into a bad matchup because of their ability to switch and stay in front. So you just got to be careful. You can't passes on the move and passes that are 50-50 passes against Marquette. They're probably going the other way. So we have to be really disciplined with our decisions.
I know read and react is kind of the name of the game offensively, but do you think Kalkbrenner's involved in that?
What's that now?
The low post and things like that when maybe the shots aren't falling from the perimeter?
Kalkbrenner in the low post? Yeah, I mean, we've got to get it there. Now, understand this, too. Teams are doing a pretty good job of trying to keep it out of there. They know that we want to go there as well. So, he's got to work a little harder to get it, and then, we have to make sure that we don't miss him when he's open.